Pretty cool antique car. What's up guys, Chris VA Travels. Down here in Fredericksburg again, knocking them out. I'm just off the Rappahannock. I'm down here in the Mill District and just going to check out the remains of a couple old mills. First off, you've got the old Germania mill over here, and this was built back in 1866. It's an old flour mill. And it was built by a John Meyer and a Frederick Bruhl. They teamed up after the Civil War to become millers. And yeah, built this flour mill. It looks like they had some sort of maybe portico or something going across the top, covering those doors. I'll also tell you that a grain elevator was added in 1917, and it burned down. This thing burned down in 1980. Yeah, and there are some plaques over there. I'm gonna read and gather some more information. Once this family crosses, I'm going to cross the street, get a closer look, and I'll take a look right there. There's the original power station, the ruins. And yeah, this is the Fredericksburg Canal path, pretty busy path, and today is Sunday morning, so there's a lot going on. But yeah, it looks like there's some sort of storm cellar. We're at the 1.5 mile marker. And first off, let me see if I can see anything in here. Ugh, yeah, real musty smell in there. Oh, actually, there's kind of a nasty smell in there. Ooh, yeah, there's a disgusting smell. I'm not getting any closer coming out of there. It's really gross. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, some covered up graffiti, but just a big old concrete building. Just walk around. And you can see this is all brush that was grown up not too long ago. There's part of a dogwood back there. Oh, all right. I took some drone footage of this the other day, last weekend, as a matter of fact. I'll put that up. And another look at this side, which we've already kind of looked at. All right, so there's kind of some metal. I don't know if that's rebar, but yeah, so let me walk over to that marker. Might give me a little bit more information. Yeah, like I say, there's a swampy area right there. And just behind it's the Rappahannock. The Heritage Trail. Like I say, this is all aftergrowth, obviously, and there it is, burning down. This drawing is by Gustavus Eriksson, depicted in 1876. And so, yeah, this fire destroyed the mill at the time, but it was quickly rebuilt by Meyer and Bruhl. And it remained in operation for several more decades. And you'll see everybody hard at work there. And also trying to salvage some of the mill wheels coming out the back. And the big old barn looks like what's behind this. And again, you see all this aftergrowth. And pretty good shot of it behind the trees right there. And you'll see, yeah, early spring, everything's starting to bloom. More dogwoods. Over here is the Woolen Mill. And let me walk around. Actually, let me cross the street. I could probably get a better view. I'm crossing Caroline Street. Okay, so now you can see the Rappahannock shimmering over there, but I'll get to that Embry power station in a minute. And here we are, the old Woolen Mills. And it began operation in 1860, so yeah, just before the Civil War. And obviously they produced woolen goods, suits and overcoats that were shipped all throughout the United States. It was in operation for about 1.5 years until it had to shut down for the war. And it was powered from a mill race that broke just off of the canal, which is just a little bit to the right. And this would be the upper canal in this portion of town. Let me walk around. And this actually is part of a pants factory that was built later on. And the original woolen mill was kind of a building to the right, according to some maps I looked at. You see an old wooden door, and you would have had obviously steps going up to it right there. And just more modern windows right there, and it looks like you can go on top. But yeah, let me wrap around. Big stone wall right there. Looks like they're doing some work on the inside. Yeah, see the ladder and whatnot in there. But yeah, this was used as a hospital by the 5th Corps. Clara Barton witnessed her first amputation here. And there's a famous photo from the Civil War, which I'll put up. All right, you see over here, it looks like a couple of doors, and maybe they had kind of a porch going down. You'll see the brickwork kind of cutting across right there. Yeah, but to give you some more information, this thing burned down 1876, and there must have been a big fire that blew through here, because that's the same time the Germania mill burned down. But it was quickly rebuilt. And then in 1884, this became one of Fredericksburg's leading industries, which I can believe. You can see by the size of this thing. And that year, it produced 120,000 pounds of wool. Yeah, the pants factory was added in 1909, which I think is actually this building. And then the woolen mill, and this is actually, technically, it's called the Washington, it was originally called the Washington Woolen Mill. But the woolen mill, which was behind it, that burned down in 1910. But this was spared, this remained, and it was in use for several more years. Yeah, so that's the history on the, what is this over here? It's the history on the old Washington Woolen Mills. Actually, I think I'm gonna walk around this thing. Private property, no trespassing. All right, let me see what's, all right, so what is this, some sort of well, some sort of giant well? Looks like that crane thing would dip down in there, or it would pull the top off. Don't really know. And there's a really old building right there. Some big old dormers on it. So yeah, here we are. It looks like this would be the 1910 portion. Let me walk across. Then we have the silk mill over here, which I'll take a look at. Oh, all right. So I'll view the Embry Power Station from over here. And across the way is Pratt Park. If anybody's familiar, you'll have Chatham Manor kind of to the right. And the Belmont, the home of Gary Milchers, kind of to the left, which I just did a video on recently. Okay, so this is kind of, this became the newer entrance, I believe. But yeah, Woolen Mill here off Ford Street. And again, pretty big complex. It looks like somebody walked back across. Looks like there's a carved bear right there. Take a look at that. Well, a little place to sit down. Kind of neat somebody did that. But pretty big plant. In the back, I don't know what this thing is. I think this is going to be part of the canal system. All right, I'm gonna have to cross back over the street here. Take a look. Oh, I'm sure that looked cool when it was freshly painted. Yeah, would have been a nice looking building. Let me peek inside of the windows. Is that a washing machine? Right there, and dryer? Oh, just kind of abandoned, not much going on in there. Whew. Yeah, so we're gonna have the canal, and there's the canal path. And you would follow that if anybody saw my video I did recently where I visited the ruins of the Embry Dam, and you follow that. Yeah, it would take you all the way down there. Yeah, pretty stagnant right here. And it looks like it's flowing a tad bit right there, but I guess I can kind of stand right here. Huh. Yeah, everybody's out walking today. Pretty neat. You just walk over to the other side. Let me cross back over here. All right, so on to, it says welcome to the Mill District. If anybody knows what it is, you can go ahead and put it down in the comments. I might go online afterwards, see if I can figure out what it is. And you see part of the woolen mill back there. And again, the original Washington woolen mill that was used as a hospital during the Civil War, I believe, was kind of in the parking lot right there. It's gone now. But, all right, so let me walk over to the silk mill. Here it is, the old silk mill, or it's called the Inn at the Old Silk Mill. We're off Princess Anne Street. It's a little bit busier over here, but yeah, really long building. Let me cross over. Like I say, they do weddings and events. It looks like there's a lot of rooms in here. To give you some history, this was built in 1899, and it was called the C.W. Tholes Throwing Company. And throwing companies were mills that would put kind of yarn onto spindles. And it looks like it was a bunch of different things at one time. I see it kind of, there were signs on top. Oh, so this is saying 1889. All right, I had read 1899 somewhere. But I wonder if there's anything historic like in the lobby or anything, but old bench. I can walk up and take a look at this bench. It looks like, was there a layer on top? That's kind of a two-decker building on the side of the sign, but all right, pretty cool. Little emblem right there, holding the dove. A couple doves, one on each side. I'll just wrap around, and yeah, it kind of looks the same all down it. Oh, there was a Hardee's over there that closed down. There's a lot of ravens, if that's what those are, around here. I keep seeing, not on top of the building, but some just flew over my head. Yeah, the Silk Mill Retreat since 2016. Yeah, Silk Mill Retreat. Pretty neat. Yeah, we're in the historic district. Oh, and I'll tell you guys, after the Silk Mill closed, this became the Wakefield Inn. And it was one of the first motels in the area. It was built by a guy named E.G. Heflin. His nickname was Peck. And yeah, it was a happening spot. It had a cafe, shop, service station. And because this Princess Anne Street used to be Route 1 bypass, and it was kind of the main corridor going through Fredericksburg. Yeah, all kinds of motels, restaurants. The famous Carl's Ice Cream is right down there. Yeah, so a bustling area. And then once the Wakefield Inn closed, it turned into the Colonial Inn. So that was open for a bit, and now it's the Inn at the Old Silk Mill. Take a look at the side. Looks like we've got an overhang. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be standing on that. Although some pretty strong brackets underneath, it looks like. Oh, all right, so maybe I'll walk over here. Cool, all right, let me get across. This is a busy little area. And yeah, everybody's out. I think with the nice weather, it's just everybody decided to come out this weekend. Old tree right here. All right, so yeah, it looks like this is maybe the event room, it looks like. Big open area. They've got the windows boarded up on the lower level. I'll tell you, when this thing was kicking, that over 200 women were employed here, and they spun silk that was from Italy, so pretty fancy. Oh, there's a big chimney over here. So I wonder, the copper shop, they have a little kind of copper plant, but here's one of these old fire marks. Oops. Interesting. I don't remember anything about a copper plant or a copper shop when I was researching. Pretty cool. But ivy growing all over this. And this looks like an old attachment right here. Look at it, kind of sunken in right there. Just kind of cut through here. Yeah, I see a bunch of chairs in there. I don't see any harm in sticking my camera up right here. Oh, okay. Kind of a wall right there. I wonder if there's a screen behind it. But, okay. Just take a look at the back. It looks like the moss is starting to bloom, I guess, or whatever is growing on it. Okay, cool. Well, that's the silk mill. Yeah, everybody's out today enjoying the nice weather. I'll tell you, over here was another portion of the plant, the Klotz Throwing Company. And this portion employed 140 people, ended up burning down in 1934, and it spun raw silk into thread. I know there's a marker somewhere around here. I don't know if it's for that. Well, okay, well, there's a house here now, but at one time, this was a portion of the throwing company. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to come down here, take a look at these 3 old mills, and that's going to wrap it up for this one. See you guys on the next video.